Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I'm going to try and get a bit of the sunset in. Hopefully it won't blind you guys too much, but it's so pretty. Welcome, peeplings, earthlings. It will go down quite soon. I've made a list. A lot has been happening. I've been on with doing my DIY. My windows turned up for the bathroom. It's one or two little snags with them, but don't worry, I've got it under control. So should we get started with the list? Firstly, what the hell is this? It's like Meghan released that, and under fair use and fair dealing, I am going to address this. What the hell is going on here? I mean, that is a cartoon of Harry. To me, it looks like AI, and I admit I'm not very good at spotting when something is AI or not, but the hair, it looks like a cartoon. It reminds me of that Christmas card that they released a few years ago, which was like a cartoon type thing. But she's released that recently. What is she thinking? Okay, answers on a postcard on that one. Thank you all very much for joining the channel, liking and subscribing. I greatly appreciate it. And I think now more than ever it's really important, because I do sense that, of course, there's a big push for Harry to try and get back in with the royal family. And if he manages to get anywhere near, I think she'll suddenly take interest in him again. There'll be no more cartoon pictures. I mean, what in the hell is that all about? And then she releases another one to say he's home from his UK visit. Have a look at this. 2 glasses of wine, right? That doesn't prove anything, and 1 knee. That could be anybody in that picture. That doesn't prove anything, does it? It's like, well, where's Harry? Normally when he goes to the UK, he's photographed on the tarmac, isn't he? Are we not all used to that? And when he returns, he's either photographed leaving or photographed landing in America. Obviously, it was the Duchess of Kent's funeral today. I'm glad a lot of you liked the video that I did of her. I think she was my absolute favourite member of the royal family. Very sweet lady. I loved her. And now the funeral is out the way. Let's talk about the mangles, shall we? Just wait for this motorbike to go. No, it's not that bad. So yeah, that is supposed to be convincing. Now, considering, okay, I did the videos the other day that he said he had to ask the UK government permission, and it did say UK government. It didn't say any other government like Ukraine. It did say, he said he asked the UK government. I'm sure he said UK. And then he's there at the same time as Yvette Cooper. Okay, may have been a pure coincidence. Well, there's going to be a state visit tomorrow, isn't there? And President Trump is going to be in the same room as the King at the same time. But it doesn't necessarily mean they're together, does it? Do you see what I mean? I feel Foreign Secretary Harry, I'm not sure they were actually on the same train, because I really looked at the train in the background, and unless Harry went on a different class, I think he arrived on a different train to Yvette Cooper, but they were there at the same time. And he's given this interview, and the photographs of him inside the train carriage, presumably talking to newspapers like the Guardian newspaper, which are really anti-monarchy. They really are. It's extraordinary, isn't it? I mean, he was born with a natural born fan base. All he had to do was be born. And there are newspapers that will happily support the royal family, come hell or high water. And yet he chooses a newspaper that's actively been against him and the royal family, like, ever since it was founded. Right, getting back to the Duchess of Kent's funeral. I hope Camilla's all right. They're saying that she's recovering so that she will have all of her strength for the state visit tomorrow. And I am hanging out a lot of hope for lots of tiaras at that. It'd be kind of lovely if the First Lady wore a tiara, but I don't know I don't think First Ladies have ever worn tiaras, or have they? But that would be kind of fabulous, wouldn't it? I do love seeing the bling and all the diamonds and everything. Yeah, getting back to the funeral. So the Duke and Duchess of York were at the funeral. They're family members. Catherine, the Duchess of Kent, was a huge part of the royal family. That's the reason that I did the video today. I think that maybe people who are too young to remember when she was on the balcony, maybe under the impression that she was some sort of minor royal, and because she stepped back and became a teacher. But oh no, she was really, really prominent. I mean, when I was a kid, she was in reception lines. She would visit like movie premieres with Princess Margaret, with the Queen Mother, with the late monarch. She was very, very much a part of the family. She and Princess Michael of Kent as well. They were both prominent. They were both on the balcony alongside Diana and Sarah Ferguson. They were all there. It's just that in recent years, of course, with the current monarch doing the slimming down, then the public are only really getting to see the major royals. And I think that is a shame, because the other royals are kind of unsung heroes, and I like to see them on the balcony, and that balcony can take the weight, you know, you can fit a lot of people on that balcony. I like to see it, and I think that each of them gives something different and represent different people in different ways. So I'm not that keen on the idea that they're not on full display at occasions like Trooping of the Colour. It was lovely to see the royal family go to the funeral today, and of course it was always going to be a big deal. And my heart goes out to the Duke of Kent, bless him. Of course, he stood in for Prince Philip after Prince Philip died to be with the late monarch, which just goes to show how prominent that they are as cousins. They're not some distant cousin. You know, they were around a lot, and they were photographed back in the day. And I personally think that Catherine Kent was actually the most beautiful and stunning of all the royal family. That's just my personal preference. I think she was prettier than Princess Diana. No detriment to Diana. I loved Princess Diana. I think she was prettier than Princess Margaret. Again, I loved Princess Margaret. But she, you know, she was really humble and like always kind of shy and retiring and really gentle. So I liked her. And so it is quite right that all the family go, because back in the heyday, Andrew would have been on the balcony and Sarah next to Catherine. And of course, I was watching live, and the comments on it were absolutely horrible from some people. Horrible. I don't know how people can't just show respect at a lady's funeral. A really, really lovely lady who did a lot of unsung work. Why do they have to comment like that? And to say things like, why should Andrew be there? I mean, what do these people want? Do they want him executed or something? I know, yeah, there's more revelations going to come out. You know, I was talking to my neighbour about it the other day. My neighbour was actually like, oh, Epstein again. You know, it's only been 10 years, on and on and on and on and on. I mean, there's a time and a place, and there are channels that will cover that. This isn't going to be one of them. It's not something that interests me. Seen it over. You know, they go on and on and on. And what really interested me, oh, excuse me while I have a fag. Oh, sun's really going down now. I'll have to hurry up because it gets dark like dead quick. What really interested me was William and Catherine conversing with Andrew, and the King conversing with Andrew. And I really, really feel that the point was being made that this is a personal family occasion, and that he is a member of the family. From William's point of view, it kind of looked like, I'd rather talk to Andrew than Harry. That's the message I think that was coming across strong. Now, in a video, well, a few videos back, I said to you guys that I had heard that Prince William was livid about the meeting between Charles and Harry. I had. And where I had heard it was on a journalist, I think I've got his name right, Tom Sykes, and I really like him. I really like the way he talks. To me, he kind of talks on my level. He doesn't try fluffing things up. He doesn't sort of add spin. I don't feel he's got any particular agenda. Apparently, I think I've got this right. Forgive me, Mr. Sykes, if I've got this wrong, but I think he said that he's been sort of excommunicated by the Royal Rota journalists because he doesn't play their game of like arse licking, shall we call it what it is. And I saw him on Dan Wootton, and Tom Sykes talks to close friends of Prince William. And Dan asked him quite candidly, he said, come on, what does William really think of Meghan and Harry? And Tom Sykes said, I can quote direct what his friends have told me. He fucking hates them both. Apparently that's what William has said. I fucking hate them both. Well, you see, I just don't see Andrew gobbing off, stabbing people in the back, left, right and centre. Whereas Harry, now, shall we come to the next bit on my list? Harry believes he's popular. Really popular in Britain. He thinks it's just going to be a walk in the park and he's going to stroll in and step right up on that balcony. That's what the lunatic thinks, apparently, having given this interview to The Guardian. I suspect there'll be a tantrum forthcoming in the next few days over the fact that William was conversing nicely with his Uncle Andrew. Tantrum! You can put money on it. And it's very interesting also that the King was conversing with Andrew, and that will not have gone unnoticed by Harry and Meghan, I'm sure. Especially not Meghan. Mind you, she know Andrew, don't you? I suppose. But I'm sure she remembers him. He's not just the Queen's handbag carrier, is he? He's a little bit more than that, isn't he, Megsy? So then he gives this interview, Harry, to the Guardian newspaper, and he says, I've taken my wife's advice, Meghan. Just stick to the truth. Really, Windsor? How did it go again, the emails to Jason North? We must be able to deny this at a later date. Anyone remember that? Court of Appeal. Judge Warby. Anybody remember that? We must be able to deny this at a later date. Helping Omid Scobie with the Finding Freedom. That doesn't sound like sticking to the truth to me, Harry. I mean, is he so drug-addled? And I mean, that's just one. That is just one. Also saying things like, there has to be truth and accountability before there can be forgiveness. And he's trying to make it sound like, which by the way, I think I'll file under never happened bullshit. He's trying to make it sound as if the King invited him for tea so that the King could give him a grovelling apology. That's how it comes across to me. Harry's like, oh, well, I wouldn't, I'm going to focus on my father in 2026, but there has to be accountability. I mean, talk about shooting himself in the foot. That's the impression he's just given. He's also given the impression he's somehow representing somebody in Ukraine for something. And I can't think for the life of me what the Foreign Secretary's doing. She should have got her security to remove him and have him put in another building. And the Foreign Office, I mean, I don't know if they have. I doubt it. But I haven't seen the Foreign Office put out a statement saying Prince Harry was not there in an official capacity representing the government or the royal family. That would be normal, wouldn't it, for the Foreign Secretary to say that? Get a Burke like that. Let's say he's gate crashing it. That's what some people are saying. He was gate crashing it or wheedling his way in through representing Invictus and being involved with a charity called, I think they're called Superheroes, which actually I think that charity's brilliant. I think it's a well worthwhile cause, but certainly they need Harry like they need a hole in the head. So he's trying to make it look like some shit that it isn't. And coming back to that meeting with his father, again, having a photographer there, and I did read somewhere, although I forget where, I did read somewhere that they were tipped off. Some of the paps or one of the journalists said they were tipped off. They were told exactly where to be. Because believe me, when we were in London for 2 months, it was late 2023, wasn't it? We were really, really close to Buckingham Palace and Clarence House, St James's Palace and all that area. And we frequently walked up there. And there aren't paps hanging around outside the gates. I mean, we actually went live from outside Buckingham Palace. And there, of course, there are police there, and there were loads of dignitaries, loads of famous people there. There were one or two photographers, but I mean, they were not actually that keen about their jobs. They were giving us a few dirty looks. They seemed to think, you know, we were after a scoop. So yeah, just tell the truth, says Harry. And he believes that he's more popular than ever. He genuinely believes, I suppose, that it's only journalists who don't like him. I mean, is he stupid? And I see some of his you know, those Megsy sugar types going on and on and on about how popular he is. Well, why don't you test it out, Windsor? Why don't you go for a little walkabout and dodge some eggs or tomatoes? See how popular you are then. And I mean, at the Nottingham event, there was nobody there. That video, loads of YouTubers have done a video on that, showing there was nobody there except for photographers. So, I mean, is the guy off his tits on drugs or something? That he believes he's popular. He believes it all went really well. All that they've done, basically, is they're going to spin this. And this is all because I believe they're desperate to keep Netflix. They're desperate to try and keep the royal connection going. And I think that's an absolute blinder that Prince William played today. And if I may say so, the King. My estimation, I'm still teetering, and basically I'm watching the situation. I'm not completely sold or convinced, and I'm still considering, you know, whether I would remain a supporter of the monarchy, because I have seen all this type of thing before, where they say one thing, whoops, it's gone the other way. All of it, oh, I promised I wouldn't do that, and then they do. And how that comes about, I don't know, whether it's people who work in the palace, actual principal members of the family, I don't know, but my hopes and dreams are pinned on the Prince and Princess of Wales. Thank God for the Prince and Princess of Wales, because if they weren't around, I think you'd see Harry back on that balcony a lot more quickly than anybody would like. And I know a lot of people, you know, they love Charles. A lot of people love Charles genuinely. And I do think there are some people out there who believe to be a monarchist, you must never, ever, ever question the monarch. And you must always sort of worship them and adore them. And I'm not that kind of monarch. Well, I don't even know if I'm a monarchist at the moment or not, actually. But I've never been that kind of monarchist. I'm not gonna just agree with the monarch just because they are the monarch. The crown is more than the monarch. The monarch is at the top. But it's so much more than that. I mean, there are libraries full of constitutional UK law. And we don't have a written constitution. Don't get me started on the Magna Carta, because it's going back a little ways. But we don't really have a written constitution, and things do change from time to time. And it is a very complicated subject. And I do sense that there is certainly a very, very strong push, PR-wise, to bring Harry back. And I mean, at one point, I might have said, well, yeah, if he's skint and he needs to go back, then by all means. But as a private citizen, maybe he could buy Ellen DeGeneres' 22 million cottage in the Cotswolds. Some shit like that. Well, not that it's shit, so obviously it's fabulously expensive. And just live out his days with his children, okay? With or without Megsy. That, I've no problem. That's none of my business. That's between him and his family. That's private. No problem at all. But it appears to me that before Harry has even gotten anywhere near an agreement of getting back in the royal family, he's already blah da 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 da. Well, yes, official duties, and the British people love me, and I'm coming back, and I'm gonna focus on Pa. Which brings me to another point, which I've noticed this habit of Harry and Meghan's over the years. When the late monarch was alive, Queen Elizabeth II, they were very careful never to criticise her, weren't they? But oh boy, them and their fans were bloody rude to Charles and Camilla. Really bloody rude. And I used to think back in those days, does Megsy and Harry not realise that Charles is going to be the king? I mean, does he think his grandmother is going to live forever? Clearly, they didn't think that far into the future. As soon as his father became king, Oh, all of a sudden, butt kissing his dad. They're very careful, if you notice. I know he put some stuff in the book about Camilla, but I think he'd written that before the late monarch died. Do you see what I mean? And now he's just being dead rude, dig after dig after dig at William and Catherine. Can Megsy and Harry not see? William is going to be the king. At what point, I don't know. No one wishes demise on Charles, but no one knows if it's next week or in 5 years, 10 years, but he is the next in line to the throne. So do Harry and Megsy really think it's a good idea to be dead rude to William and to encourage their fans to be rude to William? And also, I saw one of you guys made a comment and made a very, very good point. This absolutely tragic assassination of this guy Charlie, who I'm not familiar with, this 31-year-old man debating and really representing free speech, being assassinated. The tragedy of it in front of his family, my God. Harry and Meghan haven't said a word, have they? Well, I suppose they don't like free speech. I'm keeping my eye on this situation with the royal family. I might go back and watch a little bit more of the body language between Andrew and William and Charles. I think it is a very, very interesting dynamic, and I think it is what the late Duchess of Kent would have wanted. She would have wanted forgiveness, but not necessarily Harry. But a Christian soul, and I felt that was the essence of her funeral, from seeing them all together. I mean, if Harry had have gone, it's a private family funeral again. It's none of my business if he goes or not. My only reservation would be that William and Catherine would not want Harry there, anywhere near them, because remember, their uncle died, didn't they, on the Spencer side? I forget his name. And Harry snuck in the back of the church, and William was really uncomfortable about that, didn't like it. So I'm glad Harry didn't go, but I'm not sure I believe he's back in America. A picture of 2 glasses of wine. Well, oh yeah, how convincing. How very, very convincing. Well, that's all I'm going to chat about tonight. I am watching the situation. I think I'll release this as a premiere and we'll all have a quick chat. And we'll see, I'd be interested to see what you guys think about this, but I do sense, well, put it this way, I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see Harry doing the Christmas walk at Sandringham. I really wouldn't be surprised at all. In fact, I'm not a betting person, but I would like to bet £1. So I'm obviously not that convinced, but I'll stake £1 that he'll be at that Sandringham Christmas walk, which of course is not an official royal family thing. Sandringham is a private estate, and going to church, that's a private family Christmas affair. So it's neither here nor there, you know, it's not really up for public debate, but it's definitely very representative, isn't it? Won't it be interesting to see? And believe it or not, Christmas is not that far away. I mean, we're in September. Shops are already at it, aren't they? I look forward to chatting to you guys in the comments. Thank you very much for listening, and thank you very much for liking and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and may your God be with you.